What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This episode really didn't give much. It's just a filler, but it's still the ongoing theme of blaming everything on Drew. Drew is responsible for all the issues that has been presented to the group, and I'm tired of it. Okay, so we'll get to that. Right now, we're starting out with Shamia. She's gathering all the items she's planning on sending to Grenada because the residents have experienced a huge hurricane. Right. Her daughter Shia is helping her, but her daughter Shia also sees that her clothes and toys are all boxed up. She's upset because she believes she can still fit some of her clothes and play with some of her toys. But Shamia tells her, no, you can't fit these anymore, and we're going to give it to the people in Grenada. You know, they witnessed a huge hurricane, so they've lost a lot of stuff, and we talked about paying it forward. Pretty much, she wants to give Shia a lesson of what it means to give to the less fortunate. She knows that her daughters are very blessed, but doesn't want them to grow up bratty, okay? Don't want to have that automatic entitlement that they're going to have everything, which I do think is a good lesson, okay? While you do a lot to make sure your kids are able to get what they want, you want them to still have that humble spirit of you're not always going to be able to get it, because there are a lot of people who don't have it like you do. So Kelly comes by to help out with the donations, and she pulls up with a trunk full of bottled waters. Cynthia has dropped off her donation, which she was very excited to be a part of. Drew and Angela dropped off their donations as well. And Portia said she gave a donation, but didn't explain what it was. It could have been a monetary donation. Then here comes Budget Edie. She coming in with a very sad box with nothing but 2 packs of Charmin Ultra and some sanitary napkins. She said she couldn't carry everything down to her car, so she says she has somebody dropping off the rest of her stuff. Shamia said, okay, that's cool. Okay, well, the person that I have that's going to pick up this stuff is going to be here within the next hour, so can you tell the person bringing the stuff to hurry up and drop it off? She didn't have anything else to say because Britt did not expect for Shamia to ask that question, because Britt thought she was going to get away with just giving us 2 packs of 2-ply and 1 box of sanitary napkins, and that was it. Meaning that Britt didn't want to give. This is all she wanted to give, okay? She claims she received a late notice from Shamia, which I don't believe. And this is the thing. I am not mad about what she gave. I am mad about the lack of effort she gave, because you have been the one bragging about being that boss bitch. You gave us a scene that you change your car every 2 years. Your price budget is over $500,000. You bragged about receiving a 10-carat ring on your 1-year anniversary, okay? So I would think for somebody who brags about having all of this money, you have all of this status, you would have came in a boatload full of stuff. Why couldn't you go to Costco's and get one of the huge bulk boxes of tissues, the huge bulk boxes of sanitary napkins, okay? It would have been more of us to see you're putting the effort, but you didn't want to put the effort. And since you gave a sad display of how you create an event and plan an event, you obviously don't have it like that, Britt, and that's fine. Okay, that lets us know you're not who you say you are. You don't have the means, you don't have the money, you're just putting it on. Okay, that's it, that's all. So she goes blaming everything on the event planner because of her bare naked event that was a disaster, and saying that the event planner didn't have a good representation of her. It's like, girl, no. That event was a bad representation of you, because this was your event that you decided to put on. You did not handle everything properly. You couldn't even properly feed everybody. And come to find out, you don't properly pay people, because once that event came on the air, the event decorator blasted you for saying, I was only there to decorate. I had nothing to do with the planning. I was only there to design your menus. And then there's an alleged lawsuit against Mike of him being sued for not paying the banquet hall. And you also still haven't paid your event decorator. So Britt, instead of blaming others about what transpired at your event, how about you take some responsibility and accountability that you just don't know how to plan shit, you don't know how to do shit. Let's just leave it at that, okay? You're putting it on because you want to be like you're that girl, but you're not that girl, okay? You're a fraud. So now she's mentioning how a lot of people got into it and asking Shamia how everything went down between her and Drew. Shamia ain't got nothing else to say, okay? Because she's still in her feelings of Drew standing 10 toes down about calling her a lapdog. Well, what else is there to say, Shamia? It's the truth. Because you've been confusing loyalty by acting like a lapdog. So I don't know what else to say. So Britt also asks, how are things between her and Portia? She said, we had a conversation. It was hurtful, but we cried and we moved on. No, you felt the manipulation she used against you in order for it to look as if she's ready to move on, to look as if she's ready to be a better friend when she's not. And that's it. That's all. Moving on to the next scene. We now get the meetup between Drew and Portia, which we have been asking for all this season. But Portia has been ducking and dodging this entire time. Now that the season's coming to an end, she realizes she now has to have this conversation. But knowing that she has been doing the most when it came to Drew, I just know Portia's going to be on some bullshit. So when she meets up with Drew, she didn't recognize her because Drew wore this gorgeous honey blonde wig. But when I got up close look at the wig, I didn't like the bangs. The layers were all choppy, but it was an amazing color on her. And the producers asked Portia, is that Go Naked hair? Did she say it was Go Naked? Yes, Drew tagged Go Naked hair in that picture. And I remember on Instagram seeing that picture where she did post and tagged Go Naked hair. So now it makes me wonder, when exactly did Portia terminate Drew's contract for Go Naked hair? Because it makes it seem as if you pretty much dragged out that she wasn't terminated up until this point. But anyway, we're moving on. So Drew said we could have had this conversation a long time ago, and I hope you are aware that I did sign with Dennis. And she did admit that there could have been a conversation, but when she was in her space, being in her feelings, she knew she wasn't going to say the right words. But in her confessional, as much as she says she is aware of Dennis working with Drew, as much as it affects her life, she rates it as a 2. I can't tell if it's a 2 because it's been on 10 this entire time, though, Portia. You made it pretty much your everyday conversation whenever you're in the scene. You made a point to put 20 on 10 to create a narrative about how she's doing more than just working with Dennis. So she says, as much as I'm aware of you filming with Dennis, I also know that he has told me he wanted to clear his name. Clear his name about what exactly, Portia? What does he need to clear his name about? To me, it sounds like Dennis needs to clear his name with what you've been saying about him. Because you've been trying to insinuate that Drew is doing something inappropriate with him. You've been saying she's been performing sexual favors in order for her to have a great album. That's what you've been doing. And to me, Portia is not paying attention to how gross she's being with insinuating that Drew is doing some underhanded things in order for her to get a great album, as if her being a singer isn't something she's always been passionate about. The integrity she has as far as the passion in her music is something she would never take for granted. So for her to have this narrative about Drew being somebody who would do whatever it takes to get a great album is kind of nasty of her. And Drew stops her right there by saying, this is making me very uncomfortable because that's not what that has been. This has been a professional relationship. So we're here right now to clear that up. There's nothing going on between me and Dennis. But if you're going to talk about me filming with Dennis, let's talk about you been filming with Ralph. Portia is so full of shit because she's never going to admit that she did get her lick back by filming with Ralph because she wanted to use the fact that she only met up with Shamia for dinner and that Shamia and Ralph had a meeting about a podcast. Okay, where's his podcast? This podcast has been non-existent since that conversation. And Shamia has just admitted it in a previous interview that she only had that scene set up just for Portia to get her lick back. Yeah, see, Shamia's not to be trusted. And this is Lapdog 101. You go so far as to faking a business opportunity in order for her to get her lick back to create a lie about this woman? I cannot. And this is all of her assuming this is what Drew has been doing to her when she's been very much aware that Dennis and Drew have been working together. I cannot. So Drew says in her confessional, it's giving tit for tat, it's giving petty, and it is. And Portia is such a liar. And I don't understand why nobody wants to call her out for it. Because it's so second nature of her to just throw things out there and just assuming that it sticks, assuming that it's going to just take flight, and it has. Because here she is right now by saying, if you're dating Dennis, then just say that. If you're not, then it's none of my business. But I'm here, you're also dating a guy named Black. So let that be cleared up. It's like, excuse me? So even Drew said, you mean Black was my friend? Now, I have been hearing that this guy named Black is the owner and creator of that Black Smoke hookah and vape brand. Listen, if that's your friend, Drew, good for you. But I'm trying to understand, what does it matter for Portia? Why did she throw that name out there? For what reason? Like, Portia, how did you come up with that? And the audacity of you to want to check Drew about how she can allow for these rumors to linger on. If her and Dennis are in a relationship or they're messing around, why would you allow that to continue on? It's because of you. You've been the one creating these rumors so they can stick, and they're not sticking. And if Dennis and Drew have addressed the fact that they're just having a working relationship, then why are you working so hard to think you can confront her about how she's lying about what's going on between the two of them, and she's already cleared it up? And then she also wants to say that she has been receiving a whole bunch of anger and aggression from Drew, and she doesn't want to be good. Excuse me? Who called her a slimy ass bitch the first episode? You. You have been the one saying she is performing sexual favors for her having a good album. She's sitting on this man's hot dog. Booty for beats is what you're trying to insinuate. Like, are you kidding me right now? You're throwing out all these allegations that you have no actual proof, and here she is right here telling you to your face that none of that is true. But you want to convince her that she's lying. You want to convince her that she needs to just come out and say who she's dating. He's telling you that she's not dating anybody. So Drew says, I will not jeopardize anything that I have come to the future for me and my kids to start dating, because I am going through a very messy divorce with a man who will use anything against me. So Portia wants to still ignore what she's dealing with to say, man, you could date through your divorce. It's fine. I'm good. I've done it. But if there's something on the low, then just say that. It's nothing on the low. If she's telling you that it's not worth it to start dating because of going through this very messy divorce, why are you still trying to insinuate that she's lying and that she's covering up who she's dating when she's clearly not dating anybody? Like, Portia is so fucking dangerous, and it's a clear projection of what she has done. But now she wants to say this is what Drew has been doing. Like, girl, please. So I loved that Drew wanted to shut down the rumor that Portia wanted to create. Because if you want to say you heard it from the streets, then we can continue on with talking about what we heard on the streets. We heard on the streets about you dating Future. Now, obviously, that shut Portia all the way down. And she came with the quickest thing she could say. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. I'm not dating Future. Who is that? Girl, let's not lie. Because Simon had already put out there on the blogs about you and him in some type of relationship. So that's nothing new. Everybody has heard about that. But, of course, this is something that has Portia in it. So now Portia is now with some shit she can't run away from. Now she wants to change the conversation, change the narrative, right? Because then she wants to say it's Drew's vibe. It's Drew's acting aggressive. She's being combative. It's like, no. I'm meeting you where you at because we're shutting things down right here, right now. You want to bring up things to me that you know are false. I'm telling you that are false. So let's clear things up. That's what we're going to do. You throw out false allegations on me, I'm going to clear that up. And Drew was staying cool, calm, and collected, okay, by addressing Portia, by saying her vibe has been combative all this time. You have been treating like I've done something to you when I have done nothing to you, okay? Because let's call it for what it is right now. You have energy for me because you're going through divorce that you cannot discuss. So your beef with me is not even real. The energy you have for me is not even real. You're projecting what you can't talk about onto me. And Drew was right. Drew had clocked everything that Portia has been trying to push. So in typical Portia fashion, what does she do? She gets up, she walks away, and Drew says, go ahead, walk away. You can't handle the truth. You're the one creating issues for no reason. I'm starting to understand why Simon's leaving you, and I'm starting to understand why Shamia wants to leave you. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Because this is what Portia does. She wants to be the one to confront somebody about what she thinks they have done to her. But when you are confronting her about what she's done to you, she can't handle it. Because I feel like she can't be still. She has to fidget. She has to find other ways of escaping accountability. And this is what she did. Escape accountability. So moving on, we have Kelly. She is packing up for her trip, but she has to deliver bad news to her daughter. She will not be there to take them back to school. It's their first day back. And they're concerned about who's going to take them. So she mentions her publicist, Lamont, who they have called Uncle Lamont. He's become a part of the family, which they are very cool with, because it's been a struggle for her to not be able to depend on the other parent to step up. Even when she presented the news of her not being able to take them, they didn't mention their father taking them. I wonder if they have gotten used to not having him around. And since Kelly does have a village, maybe they don't think of him. Maybe he's not their first choice. So she tells Lamont how the schedule works when dropping her daughters off. They all go to 3 different schools. The twins go to school first, then her oldest Chloe, and then her middle daughter Chance. The twin school starts at 7 in the morning. That is super early because my kids starts at 7:45. But whew, all right. Lamont also tells her that he FaceTimed her ex-husband, Mike, because he had a relationship prior with him before the divorce, but he's been on Kelly's side throughout this whole ordeal, and I don't think that there's been any improvements as to Kelly and her ex-husband being on the same page in regarding co-parenting their children. So Kelly was hopeful that he had good news, that maybe he was able to broker some type of peace between the two of them, but no. He has not changed his mind. He's been making Kelly the bad guy all over again. He doesn't want to show up for his own kids. That's like the audacity of this man. Why would he not show up for the kids he helped create? I mean, as much as he don't want to help financially take care of them, you don't want to be there just on GP? Really? So you're willing to make her life a living hell, and in return, you're hurting your daughters in the process. Kelly, I hope you gain full custody. And I'm not sure if you're going to be spiteful as to change your kids' last names, but you should. And maybe you should also remove any type of visitation rights on him. Because how can he just remove himself for being a part of his daughter's life? You don't get a break from being a parent. And you don't want to step up and take care of your own children, which is crazy as hell to me. She's like, you can hurt me, just don't hurt my kids. And I can sense this has been a hardship she's been trying to navigate through. And I sympathize with Kelly. And this is probably like the one thing I'm saddened for her. But then I'm also annoyed that I'm not sensing this type of support for Drew. She has to deal with this too. She has to deal with a man who will make her life a living hell in order for him to win. And she has to also look past the hurt and realize this is the father of my children, which I know Kelly has been fighting through as well. But you know what? It is what it is, okay? But my sympathies goes out to Kelly for this. We're moving on. So all the ladies have arrived to the airport. They're getting ready to head to Grenada. Angela meets Phaedra for the first time, and she says in her confessional, I have heard a lot of things about Phaedra, but I'm going to put them all in the back of my mind just to get to know her for myself because she looks like she could be a lot of fun. That's good advice, okay? Starting off fresh. Then here comes Morticia, saying that Angela is the oldest, youngest looking woman I've ever met. And hopefully her personality is more youthful than her face. Excuse me, ma'am? Do we not recall how you came on this scene? You came on this scene like a school teacher, a preacher's wife, trying to act like you were above it all, you're holier than thou, and now you just suddenly want to escape that image and be on some hot girl shit, wearing 613 wigs, wearing foundation that is so not your shade, wearing clothes that are too revealing because you don't want to act your age, you want to turn back time like you are 20 years all over again. Phaedra, go to fucking hell for me. Okay, go to hell for me. Because I cannot believe you have the audacity to call out Angela being the oldest woman. Ma'am, ain't you approaching 50? Now, listen, a lot of people don't believe that Angela is in her 40s, but she looks good. Okay, yes, she's admitted she got a little boob around her nose and everything, but she is still natural looking. Her body is natural, her face is natural. Everything is gorgeous on Angela. So we're not about to make it seem as if she is the oldest woman here. Fuck you, Phaedra. Now, all the ladies have arrived in Grenada. They're hoping to have a good time. But we got some bad news. Shamia has missing bags. Her bags are left in Atlanta. So she is concerned about only having one pair of underwear and is hopeful that it can last her until her bags arrive. But you're in Grenada. I'm pretty sure there are convenience stores here. I'm pretty sure there is a Rite Aid, a CVS, a Walgreens that you can buy a pack of underwear that can last you until your bags come. Don't make it seem as if you're so stranded you can't buy underwear. Moving on. So the ladies are all in different Sprinter vans, and Phaedra wants to know who got beef because she wants to be in the mix. Angela points at Drew because she's been everybody else's beef. And then Phaedra talks about Drew in her confessional by saying, I don't know much about Drew. I mean, her outfits are kind of odd, but I don't know a lot about her. I mean, I heard she's some type of child actress. I mean, she was in a lot of black movies and stuff. I don't know. Ma'am, can you not have hater in your vocabulary? Because that's what it's given. Why are you coming so hard on Drew and Angela if you don't really know them? And what do you mean you don't know what Drew does? She's some type of actress. She works in black movies. What? Listen, I'm tired of y'all making it seem as if Drew is not a memorable actress, because Phaedra, nobody knew who you were until you came on this show. I knew who Drew was before she came on RHOA. I remember her being 80's girlfriend on That's So Raven. Okay? I remember her on being on Step Up. I remember her being in plays. I remember a lot of things about Drew more than I remember things about you. Okay? Like, ugh. Like, it's crazy as hell to me. And then you want to call the women on Married to Medicine and Mean Girls and trash and miserable? This is giving misery right here. Like, you're doing way too much, because you're literally feeding off what everybody else have said about Drew and Angela. And it's like you're just trying to gain that moment that you want to be prepared to have. But it's like, girl, please, nobody wanted you back. Like, why are you trying to, like, think you're giving us something new when you're not? Like, move on. Move. Like, ugh. So Drew says, I believe that what her and Shamia have is a lot of misunderstandings, because she was informed about Shamia doing an interview with Big Tigger where she talks about Drew being the biggest liar, and how they flash back where you continuously talked about Drew in your interview. And it was about her insinuating I'm a liar in my music because my song just got released to say I speak 5 languages. But she's assuming I'm speaking different languages when I'm talking about speaking love languages. And Shamia, you're looking so dumb every time it's explained. Like, you're doing way too much to create an issue with Drew for no reason. And it's all for dumb reasons. So when they make it to their villa, they have like a little dance hall with all the performers on stilts and stuff. And we get to the annoying part when it comes to cast trips, assigning rooms. So we got roommates Angela and Portia, Britt and Phaedra, Kelly and Shamia, Cynthia and Drew, right? But I do think that Shamia and Kelly wanted to set up Drew to have a bad room, because they pointed out that Cynthia got the shot with a number underneath. So when she drunk the shot, explained what the number of that room was. It was a premium villa with one size king bed and a twin size bed. I didn't like that, because y'all make it too damn serious to embarrass Drew like this. And it's not cool. Like, you guys are falling behind how Portia treated her in Nashville, thinking that you guys are doing anything different. Like, y'all need to grow up. So they spurs to go into their villa so they can all get dressed, get ready for dinner. And in Kelly and Shamia's room, she is asking her, how does she feel about Phaedra being on this trip? We all know they got history. She said, oh no, me and Phaedra are good. We're cool. I don't think that Shamia was comfortable with having Phaedra be a part of this trip, but she wants to make things right with Portia, so she sucked it up. I will never forgive somebody who will say you're messing with Candy and Todd when you're newly engaged. But either way, you're going to be okay with you're okay with having her around, but you're uncomfortable with Drew because Drew tagged you and called you out for creating imaginary beefs. Because that's exactly what you did. You talked about her in the interview. You have created an issue with her for no reason. And then you want to call out how fake she's being with laughing with you, smiling with you, taking pictures with you, but you're doing the exact same thing. Then you get confused about how she is still standing on the fact you are a lap dog. Like, what are you confused about, Shamia? She is responding to how you've been treating her. She's calling out that you were trying to create imaginary beef with her. Because that's exactly what this is. So I don't know why you're confused. I don't know why you're just not registering that it's because of what you've done to her. She is calling you out. Like, make it make sense. Moving on. So Drew and Cynthia were able to check out their rooms. Drew decided to accept the twin beds because she doesn't feel comfortable giving it to Cynthia because Cynthia's taller. But when she sees how beautiful Cynthia's room was with the king-size bed, her own bathroom, now she's regretting her decision. But she realizes, I'm in Grenada. I need to have a good time, not sweat the small stuff. To be honest, I don't think she should have switched. Because you're the main housewife. Cynthia is just a friend. These twin beds could probably move. It is what it is. Cynthia's going to have to suck it up. Sleep diagonally if she can't sleep straight. Like, but it wouldn't have been this big of a deal. And I'm happy Drew didn't make it a big of a deal. So, her and Cynthia go outside on the balcony. Cynthia talks about her new friend, Amsterdam. And she's so excited to have him in her life. It's new. And she's not eager to have him be out in the public with anybody. She's enjoying having him be her little secret. And he's very much younger than her. He's an amazing person, an amazing lover. He has dreads. I'm like, okay, that's new. Happy for you, Sin. So, since Cynthia is opening the doors of dating somebody new, she wants to know, has Drew dated anybody? Are you dating? She has been meeting people. She's been creating friendships, but that's all she can do because this divorce is super messy. I'm dealing with a man that is super petty. So it would not benefit me to be in any type of personal relationships, which I would agree. And I don't want anybody to push for Drew to be involved in something she's not ready to be involved in. And she then lets her know about her sit down she had with Portia. It wasn't productive because we talked about 15 minutes. And it was me letting her know that you filmed with Ralph, that I found out to be spiteful. Because what would be the major reason why you had to sit with him other than talking about me? And that's all they shown was them talking about Drew. And Cynthia says Portia likes to get her lick back, but this wasn't worth for her getting her lick back. This pretty much calls out how mean and vindictive Portia is. And Cynthia says in her confessional that, okay, Portia didn't like that Drew filmed with Dennis. Now Drew didn't like that Portia filmed with Ralph. So we can say this is pretty much even. How is this even, Cynthia? You have not even been here. No, Drew had a professional situation with Dennis that required for them to be in the same scene together, required for them to film. There was no reason for Portia to film with Ralph. There is no way this could be even. Cynthia, go away. Why are you up Portia's ass so much? Go. Like, please. Anyway, moving on. All the ladies have arrived to dinner. They all look nice. Angela revealed it is her 8th year wedding anniversary. And they were like, oh my God, why are you here? You traveled on a trip with a whole bunch of divorcees? Listen, there's a possibility that she might have something planned for her anniversary when she comes back. Or they might have planned something to celebrate before she left. I mean, Kelly missed her kid's first day of school. But we all know this is a job. She's getting paid to travel to Grenada. So I don't see how we're going to make this a big deal. And then I forgot how this conversation got started. Because Kelly talked about who receives happy endings and massages. Who receives happy ending and massages, Kelly? I've only heard about men receiving happy endings. So how did you get one? When she didn't want to address how she receives happy endings, it reminded me of those erotic massages that I see on Instagram where this man gets up close and personal with who he's massaging, okay? It's very erotic. It's something to watch, right? And Kelly, you have been extremely messy this ordeal when it came down to Shamia and Drew. Because here you want to say that this trip is about reset, relax, relate, release. But you incited some more drama when you wanted Drew and Shamia to fix their problems. But Drew says, I am happy to clear the issues with Shamia. But Shamia says, I wanted to clear the air with you at Britt's event, but you stood 10 toes down calling me a lap dog. And Drew explained once again why she said it, because you took information that was incorrect. Okay, so Shamia wants to talk about at her studio session, the lap.com, it never came up. Yeah, because it wasn't mentioned then. You didn't act like a lap dog then. Y'all had a good conversation. It was brought up after the fact because you took back information that was incorrect. And it is so funny coming from Shamia saying she don't do the fake friendships. When there are things being said, she's going to go back and tell it. She's not going to lie to talk shit about nobody in front of her. And if you're going to address it to her. Don't go online. That's what your best friend did, though. Remember, Portia did a post and delete about addressing you, saying you must have said something slanderous towards her mother when you never did. And you've been in a fake friendship this entire time, but I don't think you've ever paid attention to how this has been a fake friendship because you're still stuck on an island by yourself with wondering if this is a real friendship. Okay. And then Drew want to say, well, a hit dog gonna holler, and I and I fell out because it's kind of like, Shamia, wake up. You are like literally a dog with a bone, okay? Then everybody's mad at Drew because she's still on this dog thing. Okay, well, if Shamia stopped acting like one, So then she's like, I'm not going to keep on being cool with somebody who's going to call me a dog. Okay, well, stop acting like one. Like, Shamia, this lapdog comment didn't just come out of nowhere, okay? This wasn't the first time somebody has mentioned it. It's been years of people saying you're a lapdog, and we're getting exhausted of seeing you partake in being a lapdog. So then Phaedra wants to know, why do you keep on calling her a dog? Do you mean to say that? And then Drew said, I mean, she was at the table barking. Here come the flashback. It's like, hello, like this is nothing new. Like, I am not making this up. This is all about Shamia's antics. This is all about what she's been doing. So again, Drew is repeating that I was relaying the fact that Dennis is so proud of what he's accomplished with this album. It's going to help him take care of his daughter. That is what I said. And that's what she's repeated almost every single time. So I don't understand why we're still bringing this up as if this isn't something that was addressed. So now all of a sudden, Portia wants to now defend her best friend by saying, I think she's upset about being called a lapdog and she's owed an apology. Very proud of you, Portia. The one time you say something, why didn't you say that in the scene when she was literally acting like a damn dog and barking? But I'm hopeful that Drew did not apologize to Shamia because it's all about what you did, Shamia. You were the one who wanted to go at Drew. So if she called you a lapdog, take accountability of how you got called a lapdog, okay? And that's what's killing me. They want Drew to be held accountable, but she literally was just being held accountable. She explained why she called you a lapdog. She gave you examples why she called you a lapdog. You're the one not being held accountable because you don't want to admit that you did twist her words. You assume she said something inappropriate about Pilar and it was a slight towards Portia when it wasn't. Like, dude, hello? Is that what we're missing? So Angela sticks up for Drew and also says, we do take offense that we're having an intimate conversation with you. You run and tell it back, which is what we've seen Shamia done. Because we know that she has been having conversations with these ladies about her friendship with Portia. Phaedra wants to come in and say, did you guys really think you're going to have an honest conversation about her best friend? Yeah, because that's exactly what it's been. And Portia is upset about why is it a thing? Why are everybody coming at Shamia about our friendship? So that's when Angela said, listen, nobody is prying into your friendship. These are grievances that she is holding against you. And this is what Shamia likes to do. Whenever she is about to be called out for what she has said, she now wants to ask them, what have I said? Because she's afraid of what is going to be revealed is going to hurt her friendship with Portia. This is a part of her being afraid of how she has not expressed how she's feeling in her friendship with Portia. And she kind of just told on herself. Because she said, y'all make it seem as if I'm always coming to you guys about Portia when most of the time I am in response about what you guys are talking about. Ding, ding, ding. Which means they have mentioned things about Portia where you've added on to it. You have also given up information about how you felt in your friendship with Portia. So they are repeating exactly what you're saying. They're not lying on you. They're not twisting your words. They're literally repeating what you told them. Because if you told them you have felt the way about her not coming to your wedding, if you have told them that you didn't like that she talked over you, if you have told them she has talked over your music, if you have told them you have not been feeling supported by her, like nobody is mixing up what you're saying, Shamia. So Portia wants to say, well, how did it all come about? Like, why is everybody asking her about our friendship? Why has nobody came to me? So that's when Kelly decides to ask Portia a direct question. So do you think you've been a good friend to Shamia? This is what Portia does. She deflects because she doesn't want to be confronted. Now she wants to switch up the words by saying, I meant prior. When we were having our problems and everybody was coming to her, asking her, why didn't anybody come to me? But like Kelly said, you wanted to know why we're not asking you. Now we're asking you. But then she just shut it down with saying, you know what? We had a conversation. We're all good. Move on. What? Now, Shamia, or Lassie is what I should call you. I don't know what you felt or what you thought. To say in your confessional, you have been on the island by yourself when it came out to defend your friendship with Portia. Now that she has shut down the conversation about what's going on in your friendship to say, let it go, move on, it makes you feel good. That wasn't her shutting it down to keep you guys in a good space. That was her deflecting from answering the question because she didn't want to admit she has not been a good friend to you. And Am I tripping? But didn't she admit to Cynthia and Angela that she has recognized she has not been 100% in her friendship with you? So why couldn't she just address it and say, you know what? In our conversation, we did talk about how I have not been as supportive as I should have been, but we moved on from that, and that's what we're gonna do. That wasn't wrong to say. That was at least Portia admitting that she has not been a good friend to Shamia, but of course she just deflects, switches the conversation, didn't want to be held accountable because she always wants some accountability. Okay, Shamia, you're a people pleaser, you're a glutton for punishment. I have nothing else for you. And it's so weird though. Like, we were addressing something that actually needed to be discussed, but Kelly just switches it, just accepts whatever Portia tells her, and then flips it back on Drew by saying we need to move forward for the sake of the group. Why do we need to move forward for the sake of the group? Because Kelly wants to say that everybody has an issue with Drew except for Cynthia. Huh? I am Drew. I am confusion. What are you talking about? Kelly, you are becoming another lapdog. All right? I don't know how a lapdog can have another lapdog, because why are you saying that everybody has an issue with Drew except for Cynthia? Angela don't have a problem with Drew. Phaedra just got here. Portia don't have a problem with Drew. She created one. Here in Shamia, follow behind her. Here go you, following behind her. Here go Britt, following behind her. Like, what the fuck? Like, that is the most confusing thing I've ever heard, and I need someone to let me know. Is there anything missing that Drew has done to them that's not been shown? Maybe it wasn't relevant. I have no idea. Why is everybody turning against Drew? So Drew says, I don't have a problem with Portia. I think she wants to have a problem with me. So Portia decides to take some type of accountability and say that she didn't have the best choice of words when she came at Drew at Shamia's event. And once she said what she said, she figured she'll take some time and think about it. So Drew decides to chime in and says, okay, thank you for saying that, because I never heard you say that. I appreciate that. That's news to me that you did come at me sideways, and I wasn't aware of you coming at me sideways. I don't think that Portia wanted Drew to feel vindicated that this was something that was so unexpected, because Drew generally looked shocked when she called her a slimy ass bitch, okay? And that's what Portia didn't want. Portia wanted everybody to look at Drew sideways, like she did something wrong, when it's been Portia this whole time. And she says she doesn't have any expectation where her and Drew will move forward, because she skipped over everything that have transpired in her conversation with Drew to say that Drew just came at her and said she's dating Future. She's like, no. No, I threw out there you're dating Future because you said I was dating Black. So don't make it seem as I just threw that allegation at you for no reason, because you threw out a false allegation about me that I checked you for. And I don't know why Portia wants to repeat what her and Drew already cleared up, because why make it seem as if this is still a big deal? Why make it seem as if this is something that Drew is still not being honest about, when she already cleared up all these allegations you were trying to create about her? And then Drew says, don't throw out what the streets are saying, because they're not real. If they're rumors, let them be rumors. So in her confessional, the producers asked her, how did she hear about this? Who told her about this? She said, Dennis told me. Dennis told you? Why would Dennis tell you Drew's personal business? See, Dennis, you need to clear your name when it comes to this, because she's literally putting all the blame on you and saying you're the one who's telling her all of this information. Information she is clearly misinterpreting incorrectly. So Drew had a right to express to her, this is how it made me feel, because you were trying to make my positive situation look so negative and it's hurting me, and that's not cool. Because how would you feel if the sit down you had with Ralph, everybody took it as you and him are sleeping together? Because that's the narrative you're putting against me, and that wasn't right, and that wasn't cool. And I am just over Portia projecting about how Drew has been moving funny, when it's been Portia moving funny this entire time, but justifying this is her get back against Drew, and I just don't have time for it. You've been moving very slimy. You've been very dangerous with your words to insinuate something very nasty about this woman. And like, what is this about though, Portia? What is this about? Because you keep saying it has nothing to do with Dennis, but yet you're making it about Dennis. And if they're not together, then why are you assuming she's not being honest about them being together when she's told you they're not together? This is something that is only about them putting out music. Like, it's so weird. She's a walking contradiction. So I did not understand what Kelly wanted to do by having a talking crystal. You can't talk unless you have the crystal, and we all need to come up with some type of rule where it's not good to film with anybody's baby daddy and ex-husbands behind their back. It's like, shut the fuck up with all that shit, okay? If it was already explained in the beginning, this is nothing more than a business relationship. There's nothing else to being said because Portia has already admitted she's aware of them filming. She's aware of them working together, right? They don't have personal conversations about you. There have been only 1 or 2 scenes and they were in the studio talking about her music. You have actually had a scene where you were asking personal questions about her and Ralph. You were asking questions about whether or not Ralph has sniffed another woman, have touched another woman. You were asking invasive questions. And I think that Drew has repeated herself all throughout this damn season with saying there is nothing inappropriate about her situation with Dennis. It's all business. Then she took accountability again by saying, I could have just texted her and told her what was going on. But I was also informed that he got your blessing. Now she wants to say Dennis lied. Portia, which one is it? Because it sounds to me you want to make Dennis a problem for everything when you've been the one creating all these problems. How can Dennis lie about not getting your blessing, but he is telling the absolute truth about who Drew is dating? Make it make sense. If he lies about everything, how could he honestly be telling the truth about one thing? I don't understand. I'm confused and my brain is hurting. I have nothing else for this. Portia, you're full of shit. I'm done with this. And then it ends off with Britt wanting to have a moment that fell flat with addressing Phaedra by letting her know that I invited Apollo and his wife to her Bare Naked event. I don't know why she's kissing up to Phaedra like she is her in for her to be part of this group. Phaedra just got back. But Britt, what was the point of that? I feel like you just wanted to be included because you didn't like feeling left out, because you are an attention seeker. You attach yourself to everybody else's situation and make it about you. And it's like, girl, go away from me with this. And that's it. That's all. I don't have nothing else because it was just stupid. It was lackluster. And next week, she's definitely going to get her ass handed to her, which I'm excited to see. But y'all, that's it. That's all. I don't have nothing else. Okay. This episode annoyed me to no end. Okay. But please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.